What's up, guys? So, thanks for tuning in. I am Jordan.
And I'm Rachel.
And we're Southeastern Cowboy Network. And we're here to help you avoid some of the mistakes that we've made by planning ahead for your trip to the NFR.
Yeah, we are putting together the ultimate NFR Playbook. It is your guide to navigating Las Vegas during the NFR. And I would say we're fairly qualified. This will be our 6th NFR trip.
Yeah, we've done 5 to Las Vegas.
Yep, 1 year to Texas.
1 year in Texas, thanks to COVID.
Yeah.
And we're very excited to go back. So we're going to be doing a series of videos covering all of the things that you're going to want to know about going into the NFR in Vegas, from the lodging to where to go during the day to where to watch the NFR. And we're going to try to cover and touch on a little bit of everything that you want to know if you've never been to Vegas, if you've been a couple of times but you really didn't go in with a good plan. We're going to cover a lot of things. And in this first video, we're going to cover lodging.
Yeah, that's the next step. You've decided you want to go to NFR. You've booked your flights. Maybe you haven't yet because you're trying to decide where you're going to stay and how long you're going to stay. So in this video, we'll hope to give you a little bit better idea of the lay of the land of Vegas, because our first NFR trip was not planned the best. Let's put it that way. We decided 3 weeks out we were going to go. We booked a room at the Strat. We were like, it's great. We're going to be on the Strip. And we were pretty out of the action being there.
Yeah, so we're going to start there at the Strat. So the first year we went, like Rachel said, we booked really short notice, never been to Vegas, didn't know where anything was. We just knew the Strip was where everything was. So we booked the Strat, and it was on the Strip, but it was just at the end of the Strip.
Yeah, it was a great room. I don't want to discount that. If you're looking for somewhere that's a little bit quieter, kind of out of the action, but has a great value, we had a suite there, and it was lovely. So I don't want to complain about the property per se. It just wasn't exactly what we were looking for, and we had to get the idea of what our priorities were for NFR. So if your priority is kind of a place that's a little bit quieter, kind of in between Fremont and the rest of the Strip, the Strat's a good spot to go to.
Yeah, and that's a really good place to start with your planning too, is the things we're going to point out about these properties. We may not have stated all of them, but a lot of them we've been in, we've seen firsthand, and we've experienced a lot of the things going on. During the NFR in Las Vegas, there's going to be stuff going on all over the place all the time. So we're going to try to help you dial that in. Now, the Strat, like she said, is going to be a little far from Center Strip, where everything happens. It is going to be what I would consider more of a value property.
For sure.
Like she said, we were able to get a suite at a really low price, but we had to go either by monorail or Uber everywhere we went for anything to do with the rodeo. So the Strat is going to be a property at the end of the Strip, and it is about a block and a half from a monorail station. So you can still get to the monorail and get around, but it's not going to be right on your doorstep, and you are going to have to travel pretty much to do anything rodeo related.
Yep, for sure. So let's move down the Strip. Let's talk about one of the newer properties we've seen in Las Vegas. It's Fontainebleau.
The Fontainebleau is going to be more of what I would consider a higher end property.
For sure.
It's beautiful. I think it may be the newest property in Las Vegas. Very nice, very good rooms. They are going to have a watch party this year. I don't know who's hosting it. And you'll find out if you've never been before that the watch parties are going to be really awesome. We are going to cover those and a lot of the ways to catch the rodeo throughout some of the later videos. But right now we're just going to touch on if the property has one or not, and kind of if we've experienced it, how fun it was. Never got to experience the Fontainebleau, but if you're thinking about booking that one, I think you're going to be happy with it. I wouldn't stray away from it. It's going to be more convenient to other things than the Strat would be, but it's still going to be just a little toward the end of the Strip. One of the things that is a little better and more convenient about the Fontainebleau is if you're planning to go to Cowboy Christmas at the Convention Center, Fontainebleau is going to be one of the closer hotels to the Convention Center. So in the same neighborhood as the Fontainebleau, there's another property.
Yeah, Resorts World. And this one I really want to highlight because this one has a lot of rodeo action happening. One of our absolute favorite after parties and concerts is there, Rodeo Vegas. If you had been into the Mirage in the past, that is those concerts. So you're going to be able to find that action there. They also had a little bit of shopping last year. They had some daytime activities. So it was really a great property in the sense that you're really convenient to all of the rodeo things. You're also convenient because you have the Tesla tunnel downstairs that'll take you directly to the Las Vegas Convention Center where Cowboy Christmas is hosted. So it's a really great property. It's a little bit pricier than what we were looking to spend, but it does have 3-tier levels of ways that you can book. There's actually 3 hotels in the different towers. There's a Hilton, a Conrad, and the Crockford.
Yeah. So if you're looking for somewhere that you want to have a lot of amenities, Resorts World's going to check those boxes. There's a huge casino, huge gambling floor. They have a lot of restaurants there. They have a lot of quick eats, a lot of things you can grab and keep having fun on the floor. And then like Rachel said, there is a lot of rodeo-focused things there. Like, I totally agree with her. One of our all-time favorite after parties and one of the best places to catch concerts in all of Las Vegas is going to be Rodeo Vegas. So wherever they are is somewhere you're going to want to be. And the other thing that they do have is a watch party. I don't think that they have a hosted watch party like a lot of the hotels do, but they still have a good one, and usually it's in their doghouse, which is near the casino floor. Everything in that hotel is very convenient to get to, and you really can't go wrong. So if the Resorts World is in your budget, I would say that's going to be a thumbs-up property you're definitely going to have a good time at, and you're still going to be fairly close to all the other action too.
Yeah, it's still a fairly new resort. It's only like 4 years old, I believe.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot to do more. Last year was the first year that they hosted Rodeo Vegas. This year they're actually moving. So it was kind of in the back last year for the concerts. This year's actually going to be hosted in their nightclub, Zouk. So it'll be right down the hall. It's very convenient. It's a really great property. Can't say enough good things about it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that Rodeo Vegas set up in Zouk because we were able to go there for another event, and it was actually full nightclub mode. Yeah. Not really our speed, but if it's going to be Rodeo Vegas in there, it's probably going to be a phenomenal spot to take in all those concerts.
Yeah, jam up to say the least. So we're excited to see that one play out.
Yeah, so we're going to move on down the strip a little bit. We're kind of going in order if you're catching that, but we are going to pop off of the strip for just a second and go to the property that we are going to be staying at this year.
Yep.
Very excited to be going there, and that is the Rio.
Yep, this is our first time staying at the Rio. It's a really great property for us because, 1, it's newly renovated in a lot of ways. 2, there is shopping there, and we always end up there anyway. 3, our very favorite watch party of all time is being hosted there.
Yeah, Matt Merritt hosting a watch party is absolutely the most entertaining watch party you'll catch anywhere in Vegas. We highly recommend going to that one. So even if you aren't staying at the Rio, you definitely want to get there at least one night to check out that watch party. And if you do want to stay at the Rio, check out our Instagram. We've got a discount code through Matt's watch party that you guys can book your rooms at a discounted rate and be in one of the new rooms. You can pick a renovated room. You can pick one of the rooms that's not been renovated. And they've got a lot of really great options, a lot of different room types, a renovated casino. So it's going to be a really awesome place to stay.
Yeah, no doubt. It's one of the most interactive, most fun watch parties that we've ever attended. And they also do giveaways, prizes. You never know who is going to show up to this watch party.
Yes.
It is really such a good time. And just the property itself is great. I mean, honestly, like I said, there's the shopping. You can score some really good deals in the farthest right-hand room down the hall with the shopping. I'll just leave that there for you at this time. And they've also got some good restaurants. We love Hash House A Go-Go. Super convenient to order that in the morning. And yeah, we just are really excited to experience this property to the fullest because we've been there every year that we have gone to Las Vegas for the NFR, but this will be our first time staying there.
Yeah, and this property is not going to be one that you're going to walk to other properties on the strip. So it is convenient by Uber ride. You're not going to walk anywhere, but you're still going to be in a really good spot, midtown, and able to access everything pretty easy with an Uber ride. So the Rio, can't go wrong. 2 thumbs up. Now, let's move on back to the strip again.
Okay.
And one of the properties that we actually have stayed in, and it would have been the property we stayed in last year, is the Treasure Island.
Yeah, Treasure Island was great to stay. It's kind of mid-strip. It's walkable to other things on the strip. There's some new shopping centers at like the Horseshoe. We were able to walk to that. We were able to walk to the Caesar Forum shops. We were able to walk to the Link Promenade. So a value stay for sure. There's plenty of good restaurants and things within the casino itself. But yeah, we enjoyed our time at TI, I would say.
Yeah, last year we got in. We didn't have time to make it to the perf. We really didn't have time to get to any of the watch parties. So we just settled in, came back downstairs, actually went to Senor Frogs, watched the rodeo there, had a good taco, and then enjoyed the night there in the hotel. And they also have one of the things that I think is truly a value at any property you go to. Right downtown, they do have a CVS in
Yeah,
the
it's
casino.
connected
to it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so they've got a lot of good little quick grab and go shops, as well as the CVS that's connected within the casino. So it's really convenient to go and get your bottles of water or whatever you need downstairs, so you're not spending an arm and a leg on a bottle of water wherever else. That is one of the bigger hacks that we definitely recommend, is to go and get 6-packs or bigger packs of water to take to your room, so you always have water available to you, because we don't want you withering away in the desert.
Yeah. So if you want to book with the TI and you go to their website, they actually have discount codes listed on their website. I think the one we used last year was called the TV deal or the TV discount.
Something like that.
But there's different ones. Just play around with those as you're going through, pick your dates and pick the discount that you want to try. We actually plugged in 3 or 4 different ones and
to see
saw
what was
which
the
one
cheapest.
gave us the best deal for the room type we wanted when we wanted to stay there. Play with those. So maximize your money while you're going. Look for the discounts, plug those in, and take advantage of those. So moving on from what we would consider a good value property to some of the higher end properties. We've never stayed at these, but they are pretty much directly across the strip from the TI, and that would be the Wynn and the Venetian.
Right. So the Wynn, we're excited. We are actually going to get to experience it a little bit this year with the 4 Sixes dining experience. I'm pretty excited about that. We already booked our reservation for that. So we're going to be stepping into the Wynn for that one night. And yeah, I'm excited to experience it. We've never gotten to go into the Wynn just because we haven't had a reason to. We get so consumed with doing rodeo things in Vegas that we typically don't catch the Vegas things, like going and seeing the beautiful hotels and their different displays, or getting to see some of the shows. So I'm glad that we're getting to experience that in the Wynn this year.
Yeah, we do have some friends that have stayed at the Venetian, and I think they've stayed multiple times. It's going to be a very, very nice property. The Wynn and the Venetian, you can't go wrong with either one of them. You are going to spend a little more, but if you're comfortable spending money and you're looking for luxury, convenient to everything, the Wynn and the Venetian are going to be 2 properties you're going to be over the top excited about and over the top happy with. They're going to be properties that don't really have many rodeo focused activities going on, but they're such a good location to everything else on the strip. You're not going to miss out on anything. You're just not going to be able to do it right downstairs in your own hotel.
Right. So let's pop back across the street. We need to give a little tiny violin right now, like insert sad violin noise, because I want to mention the Mirage, just to say, pay homage to our favorite place in Vegas that no longer exists. It will be turning into the Hard Rock, and we're both very sad about it, because that is where we kind of fell in love with Vegas and the NFR. We loved staying at the Mirage. We loved the Rodeo Vegas parties that were hosted at the Mirage. We loved California Pizza Kitchen. We loved Otero. Oh, man. So, yeah, we were just a little sad to see the Mirage go, because it was such a great hub for all things Vegas and rodeo.
Yeah. Rodeo Vegas, the home to Rodeo Vegas for so many years.
Yes.
And you've already said in this video how much we love Rodeo Vegas. The concerts there that are totally free, by the way, if you've never been.
Yes.
There are so many concerts that are 100% free. You just have to walk in and enjoy. Now, there are ticketed concerts, but Rodeo Vegas concerts are 100% free. And the Mirage really helped, in my opinion, get those to where they needed to be just iconic NFR experiences.
Yeah, for sure. So you'll definitely have to try and check out Rodeo Vegas parties now at Resorts World. And they always book really great artists that are kind of up and coming, and you get to see them totally for free before they cost you an arm and a leg, and it's a challenge to get tickets on Ticketmaster or StubHub and pay all those fees. But anyway, so just want to pay homage to the Mirage real quick. But back across the other street is the Link, somewhere we also have stayed.
Yes, so this would have been, I think, 2 stays ago for us. The Link is something I would probably classify as another value property. This is another property that we were able to book a suite in at the same or lower rate than what we could have got standard rooms at some of the nicer hotels. The Link is a little more recently renovated. However, it's also a really young property as far as the people staying there go. So it's a little more lively. So if you're a partier and you really don't concern yourself with sleep or quiet or peace while you're at the NFR, you might be really happy at the Link.
Yeah, the Link, it's connected to the Link Promenade. That's a pretty lively spot. There's an In-N-Out down there that's open all the time, which we love. But yeah, it was definitely more like a millennial geared type property. They've got a great gambling floor. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, there's just not so much rodeo stuff happening, but you're kind of mid-strip in the middle of everything. It's easy access to get to whatever you need to. But if you're looking for a great value property, look at the Link.
Yeah, the Link is going to be located pretty much directly across from Caesar's Palace. And then the Link Promenade that Rachel mentioned is going to have multiple restaurant options. You can walk down that little alleyway and you can find everything, like she said, from an In-N-Out to a British pub to a Guy Fieri restaurant. There is an ice cream bar. There's all kinds of options for food and for fun down there. So if you're going to be looking for something to eat, late night especially, then the Link Promenade is a place you're going to want to find yourself.
Yeah, that's somewhere we go inevitably every year anyway. So we'll find ourselves at the Link Promenade at least once this year.
Yeah, so touching a little more on a couple of more of the nicer properties, one of the ones that is truly iconic Vegas is the Bellagio and the Bellagio Fountains.
Yeah, you need to catch that if you're in town anyway. Even if you get to drive by, now it might be a challenge more than in years past. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so there's a little event that goes on prior to the NFR that last year was their first year, and I'll say, unfortunately, it sounds like they're around for a few years, but the Formula One race is set up months in advance of the NFR. They actually take over the entire city of Las Vegas. The race course is the Las Vegas Strip, so they're going to be building light towers and stands to watch from and TV platforms and different things like that all along the Las Vegas Strip. One of those areas being truly disrupted is the area directly in front of the Bellagio Fountains.
Now, yeah, and that's just from the roadside. That doesn't mean you can't go into the Bellagio and see the fountains. And I encourage you to do that. I mean, it's a beautiful, they've got some really luxury shops in there as well. But we've walked through the Bellagio several times. We've gotten to see the fountains from the direction of the Bellagio as well as from the road, just catching it when an Uber was driving us through. But they are going to have light towers and things like that are still up during the NFR because the F1 race happens really close in front of NFR.
Yeah, and they just don't have time to get it all down in time for us to get in there and check everything out.
Yes.
But you're still going to be able to enjoy everything. It doesn't disrupt it that much. So the Bellagio, just like the Wynn and the Venetian, if you've got the money and you're looking for that luxury, really good stay, Bellagio is going to be one of those spots that you're going to be happy with. But keep in mind, it's also one of those where there's not going to be watch parties and concerts and things right downstairs, truly rodeo related. But as the others, you're going to be convenient to pretty much all of the other properties that have those things to offer. So Bellagio would probably be a good property if you're looking for that.
Yeah, and then right across the street, which is walkable from the Bellagio, is the Horseshoe. And they are actually hosting a shopping show that used to be at Mandalay Bay. So if you've been in years past and you love the shopping at Mandalay Bay, which I always have, I always find really great turquoise or clothing or cowboy hats there because that's the home where Greeley Hat works every year. Now that show has moved to the Horseshoe, and we were able to walk from TI last year directly to the Horseshoe. It was not a crazy walk. If you're in the Bellagio area, anywhere close to the Horseshoe, it's a great walk. There's great little restaurant options in front of the Horseshoe. But yeah, so anyway, it's a great property. We actually had looked at staying at this property. Prices were pretty good.
Yeah.
It's newly renovated since it was Bally's before. But we just didn't end up going with that one because there wasn't more rodeo stuff happening there.
Yeah. And the Horseshoe is probably somewhere we would consider staying still.
Yeah.
But we would like to find a home where we're going to stay for years because it's nice to get comfortable and stay around the same people year after year, and it kind of becomes a reunion for you. Now, I do want to point out something we brought up a couple of times, and that's walking. One of the things, if you've never been to Las Vegas before and you watch any videos on Las Vegas from the people that are there, they'll tell you just because you can see it doesn't mean it's walkable. When we're talking about these hotels have thousands of rooms and cover acres of property. So one hotel block in Las Vegas could be the equivalent of 6 city blocks in a normal city.
Yeah, absolutely. Just because you can see it does not mean you can walk to it. These buildings are absolutely massive. And Vegas is really flat. So it's very deceiving for us, especially being from like East Tennessee, where everything is mountainous and rolling hills. But yeah, just because you can see it does not mean you can walk to it. We average anywhere from 15,000 to 25,000 steps a day in Vegas. So, and when you do that 7 days straight, man, you just walk your little legs off. So do not be afraid to grab the Uber. They're usually not expensive, especially daytime. They're anywhere from $10 to $15. Or if you can get a shuttle in between different places, like I know that Horseshoe had a shuttle going over to Rio last year for the shopping during the day, and we actually hopped on that shuttle. So just be aware that there are transportation options. We'll cover that more in another video coming up.
Mm-hmm. And while we're talking about some of the transportation options, we're going to throw that in there too. Some of these properties are more conveniently located to some of these really good transportation options, more so than others. As you heard us mention at Resorts World, there's the Tesla tunnel. And then every hotel is going to have a designated Uber pickup station or Lyft. So if you're going to be Ubering a lot, which we inevitably end up doing every single year, you're going to want to find out where those are when you get there, because there will be one spot where they're going to pick you up. So when you're there for check-in, go ahead and ask, hey, where is the Uber drop-off and pickup? Because sometimes the drop-off is not the same as the pickup. Most of the time it is, but you never know. And then one of the ways we love to get around while we're in Vegas outside of Ubers is the monorail. It's probably one of the most cost-efficient ways and pretty much gets you access to any of the areas you're going to want to go while you're in Vegas. We mentioned the Link earlier. That is going to be one of the properties that has a station for the monorail. The Link and Harrah's station will drop you off right at the back of the property, and it's an easy walk in from the monorail to the inside, covered the whole way. So I think there's also one down by the Horseshoe.
Yeah, I believe so. We'll pop up a map so you can see all the monorail stations, but it's a nice, convenient way to get back and forth from Cowboy Christmas at the Las Vegas Convention Center. That's usually the route we go unless we're going from Resorts World and taking the Tesla tunnel.
So we've covered everything down to the Horseshoe. Everything beyond this in the area of the Strip, we haven't stayed in, but we have definitely spent time in.
Yep.
So one of the properties that I want to touch on that is one of the ones I think we've spent more time for concerts than anything else, and that's the Cosmopolitan.
Yeah, it's really unique property.
Absolutely.
It's definitely different than anything else in Las Vegas, and it feels very Vegas. They have really unique dining opportunities and different like speakeasies and secret little places, and that's really fun and really cool to check out, as well as, like I said, like Jordan said, we have been there for ticketed concerts. So we were actually gifted tickets via Ranch Water. Thank you, Katie. Last year, we got to go see Ian Munsick at the Cosmo. So that was really our first time spending very much time there at all.
Yeah, I think last year was the first time we made it into that property. And as Rachel was mentioning, they do a really great job of being creative with their dining options and their decorations and things. There's a bar in the center of the hotel that's actually called the Chandelier Bar, and it looks like you're inside of a giant chandelier while you're there. So, fellas, take your ladies to the Cosmo. There's going to be some great photo ops for her, and if she is anything like most of the ladies that are going to the NFR, they're very concerned about those outfits and the outfit picks.
Hey, it's our Super Bowl, okay?
That's right. It's a Super Bowl of rodeo and rodeo fashion, apparently.
Yeah, it's a fact.
So the Cosmo is going to be one of the nicer properties. You are going to pay a little more for the rooms there, but a lot of people really think it's worth it. So it's going to be one of those options we're going to put up on that upper tier of stays. And there's not a lot of direct rodeo-related things going on other than those ticketed concerts there.
Yeah, and then we'll move down to the Strip to a property we've not stayed at again, but we spent a fair amount of time there, and that's the MGM.
The MGM, from my day, was one of the central places. I remember the PBR World Finals being there and that iconic green building, and they still have a large presence of people that are really involved in the rodeo there as well. They have some great concerts. They actually have a pretty good watch party down there. So the MGM is going to be, in my opinion, one of the more lively properties too.
For sure.
A little younger generation seems to be there. So if you're looking for one of those more party-based properties, MGM is going to be a good spot for you. Location-wise, it wouldn't call that center strip.
Yeah.
But it's still part of the main stretch of the strip, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. We've spent a lot of time there on the casino floor. Now, this one is one that you can definitely get lost in because it's so large, and we have gotten lost in a time or two. So don't be afraid to ask. There's lots of really nice workers that will point you in the right direction because signage is important, and a lot of these hotels and casinos have signage in them, but some of them are not the best. So just be aware of that. This is a really big property, great gambling floor. you'll probably spend some time there. And they've got the iconic line with the giant black cowboy hat on it.
Yes, that's a really cool photo op too. So MGM probably going to be one of what I would consider a mid to up tier, but nicer rooms, pretty well kept property. MGM would be one I would recommend.
Yeah, and then across the street from it, I think it's important to mention that was the property where the Tropicana was. So now that's something unique about this year, that there's going to be a lot of people looking for different hotels to stay in, simply because the Mirage and the Tropicana are both no longer with us. So that is our two major large resorts where they did have rodeo things happening and where rodeo people stayed that are no longer going to be there. So it's really important to think about your rooms sooner than later, because there's going to be a lot of people looking for different properties to stay at this year.
Yeah. And then we'll touch on one more property that is on the Strip, and it's just a little farther down, and it would kind of be the end of the Strip down that way. But that would be the Mandalay Bay. So the Mandalay Bay in years past hosted the shopping that is now located at the Horseshoe.
Right.
So out of all of the properties in Vegas, I would say most of them are very adult-based. But if there was one that I might recommend for taking kids to, it would probably be the Mandalay.
Yeah, it's a little bit quieter. It's got a lot of entertainment options when it comes to kids. They've got an aquarium. They've got a shark reef you can go and see sharks in. So they've got some on-property stuff that will be good. They've also got really great dining options that we have experienced before and really enjoyed. We used to go to the Mandalay a lot simply because we loved the shopping, and they also used to host Matt Merritt's watch party, which has since moved to the Rio. So that was one of those that, it's a little bit more of an expensive property, but it's a very nice, very clean, very well kept property as well.
Yes. And it's not going to be a very wild property, as Rachel mentioned, so you can feel comfortable. You're kind of away from the main part of the Strip, which can be a good thing. Like I said, if you're coming with a family, then it's going to be a little more mellow. You are going to have to take Ubers everywhere you go because they're not going to have the monorail to take you to everything else. But if you're looking for somewhere like that, then it's probably going to check a lot of those boxes for you.
Right. And I'm sure that they do have a watch party. I'm not sure that it's hosted by anyone. And I know they did host some pretty good concerts last year. We just didn't make it over there because it was kind of out of the way for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the Mandalay Bay. I'm going to give that one a thumbs up too, and you're probably going to want to check it out. Like I said, if you have family or if you have some younger ones and you're looking for a little bit more of a mellow experience, but you still want some things going on, Mandalay Bay is going to be a really good option for you.
All right, let's jump off the Strip. We've got two more properties we really want to highlight. One of them is directly next to the Las Vegas Convention Center, and it is such a cool property that's such a sleeper, and we really did not experience much until last year, and we've been missing out. That's all I've got to say about the Westgate.
Absolutely. So the Westgate, also when we're talking monorail, couldn't be more convenient. They do have a station right there next to the Westgate, so it'll drop you off, and you can hop on that, get to any of these other properties. Get to Center Strip if you want to, because you still have the monorail right there in front of you. The Westgate is also one of two hotels that I would consider Cowboy Central.
Yeah, it's got the Cowboy feel to it. They've got different music acts happening concurrently, and we've already seen the lineup for this year, and it is stellar. Yes. I cannot wait to go to the Westgate to see some of these guys play. They have a great hosted watch party by Skip and Guy. Really entertaining. So we're really excited to experience that one this year.
Yeah, also host the Cowboy and Indians party every year. There's a lot of industry people that stay there. Yes. So the crowd and the vibe at the Westgate is going to be a really young, very fun vibe, but it's not going to be wild. But like Rachel said, concerts, right there when you walk in the front door, there's a stage. When you go into the ballroom, there's a stage with a major act. There's a great watch party with Skip. They have some pretty good restaurants over there.
Yes.
They do have a Benihana, and there's a couple of other really great options.
Right.
Huge sports book. So if you're going to get a room somewhere that is going to be really focused on the Cowboy, the Westgate is going to be a good one.
Yeah, no doubt. The Westgate is a great property to stay at. I would say it's affordable. You've got to book it early because, like I said, so many of the vendors do stay there because of the convenience, but definitely a property we would consider staying at in the future.
Absolutely. So Westgate, if you can get a room there, it's going to be a really great property for you. I think you're going to have fun no matter what because you're going to have plenty of rodeo-focused activities.
Yes.
You're going to have a really great hotel to stay in, a really great casino to have fun in, and then really great company all around.
Oh, yeah, and the dining options are great, too. They have an actual Benihana there. Yeah. So if you want to go to some hibachi, that is like the staple of hibachi, you got to check it out.
Yeah. So that's the Westgate. Now, we're going to talk about one of our all-time favorite properties, but I'm pretty sure that if they've been keeping a secret at the Westgate, they might as well be putting this one on a billboard because everyone knows about it, but you can't get a room.
Well, it's just a challenge because they have so many things happening there.
Yes.
You have to have stayed there the year before to get the first option to get a room. And we're talking about the South Point.
Yes.
They're the hosts of the World Series of Team Roping. They have a huge, wonderful shopping show. They have the gold buckle ceremonies, amazing concerts, and some of the best dining that is available in Las Vegas.
One of our all-time favorite restaurants is primarily Prime. It's a prime rib restaurant that ruined prime rib for me because the first time I ever had prime rib was there, and no one else has been able to live up to that.
Yeah, it's incredibly good and honestly so affordable. This is one of our absolute non-negotiable meals that we have to have while we're in Vegas. You can just make a reservation online. I've even done it from the Thomas and Mack before
Yes.
while we were sitting at the rodeo. And it is just one of those best things. But it's not just that. It's the Mexican restaurant. They have a steak and shake, the Silverado, the Coronado Cafe with their late night steak and eggs special.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, we'll have to show you guys that because the food and the serving sizes for the price is insane. Like, I don't know how South Point does it.
Yeah. So you're going to check that out late night. One of the coolest parts about the South Point is very similar to the Westgate. It's all cowboys.
Yes,
it's
all the time.
rodeo people. It's team ropers. It's people from the Western and rodeo industry all over the place. So that means you're going to feel comfortable. You're going to feel in your element there. And the buckle ceremony, like Rachel was mentioning, happens every night after the rodeo except for round 10. So as soon as the winners finish up their rounds, they head straight to the South Point, and then they pick up their Montana Silversmith round win buckles on the stage of the South Point Ballroom. And then after that's over, there's a really phenomenal, totally free concert every night.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, if you're there for the rodeo, you need to go at least once and experience the buckle ceremony. You see it on the Cowboy channel on RFD TV televised, and it looks like this big grand room with a big stage, and really it's an intimate setting. It is so cool to experience. I think it's one of those things that if you're going to go to the rodeo, you also need to try to go to one of the gold buckle ceremonies. And you've got to stay for that concert. And then after the concert, you can go get the steak and eggs because it's late night.
Yeah. And like she was saying, it's an intimate setting. So you have to get there early because if you wait, you're not getting in for that concert. It's just not going to happen. So get there early so that you can get in and have a spot for that concert. And notice I didn't say seat. I said a spot. It's going to be standing room only.
Yeah, you're going to be standing, but it's going to be a fun time. And while you're there, the casino floor is great. They've got a lot of, like I said, great dining options. If you're looking for cheap and easy, they even have a hot dog cart available on the casino floor. So we really love the South Point. If we were able to get a room there, we would stay there 1010%. And it's great too, if, like Jordan said, if you're looking for something a little bit cool and more calm too for your kiddos, you can kind of find your way out of the action there. They've got a bowling alley. They've got different entertainment things within the casino. So you really do not feel like you're missing out on Las Vegas being out at the South Point. If anything, you're missing out on the South Point if you're in Las Vegas. So we end up there all the time. Like, we probably end up there several nights when we're in Las Vegas for the NFR.
Yeah, and we can't say enough good things about the South Point. One of the things that they do just miles above and beyond what everyone else does is the level of service that you find at the South Point, whether you're on the floor, whether you're going to one of the bars to get a drink, whether you're at a restaurant. The service is phenomenal. The employees actually care about you and if you're having a good experience or not. And if you're not, they're going to do everything they can to make sure you are. So South Point is 2 thumbs up all the way. Now, the location is going to be probably the farthest out of town you could possibly be and still be experiencing Vegas, but it's absolutely worth it to go there.
Yeah, the Uber ride is usually about $30, and a lot of times we'll catch one of the shuttles from the Thomas and Mack when we're leaving the rodeo to go over to the South Point. That's a totally free shuttle, and then we have that $30 Uber ride back to our hotel. So we're willing to do it. It's well worth it, in my opinion. You actually end up saving money half the time eating there or doing things there that kind of make up for that Uber ride. And I think it's free parking, too, if you do have a car. So definitely check out the South Point.
Yep. And Rachel touched on something right there that I do want to bring up in this. We've talked about Ubers. We've talked about the Tesla tunnel. We've talked about the monorail. But one of the things we haven't mentioned yet, and it is only available to the Thomas and Mack from the host hotels and back to those host hotels from the Thomas and Mack after the performance every night is the free NFR Express shuttles. There are host hotels throughout all of Las Vegas that offer that completely free. They run the entire time about 2 hours ahead of perf time to take you to the performance at the Thomas and Mack, and then they'll run until everyone has been taken back to their hotels afterwards. Now, I will try to put a list up here of the hotels that offer that, but you can look that up, go to the NFR Experience social media. All of those host hotels are going to be represented in ads on there, so be sure to check that out. NFR Experience is going to be one of your best sources for activities going on. There's even an app you can download that will tell you who the host hotels are and what they offer.
Perfect. Okay, so let's wrap this up by naming off a couple of things and categories, priorities, I should say, that we consider when we're booking a room in Vegas.
Yeah.
So which one do you want to start with?
So let's start with let's do your pick and my pick.
Okay.
And let's do a few categories, and let's start with the hotel that has the most rodeo-related action on property.
Okay, I am going to pick Resorts World.
Okay.
Simply because they host Rodeo Vegas. We love, love, love the Rodeo Vegas parties and concerts. We cannot say enough good things about them. They had some daytime activities last year. Just really great people. They always get athletes to show up, the rodeo athletes. They always get unique people to show up in the industry. They have really great interviews and things going on because they are part of Teton Ridge. So you can expect the red carpet to be rolled out at these types of things. Resorts World is just a great location because they have the Tesla tunnel. You can go back and forth extremely easily and cheap, back and forth from Cowboy Christmas. So that's my pick.
Okay, good pick. So I think for my pick, I'm going to go with the Rio.
Okay.
And the Rio is going to be probably my favorite because you're going to have the number one watch party in all of Vegas, the most entertaining watch party in all of Vegas every single night. And if you're like us, you're not going to go to the Thomas and Mack every night. You're going to try to go at least a couple times, but tickets get expensive if you don't already have them. And we can't go every night. So the watch parties are absolutely the next best way to watch the rodeo. In addition to that watch party with Matt Merritt, they're the host for probably the second largest shopping in Vegas at Stetson Country Christmas. And they have multiple exhibit halls full of awesome shopping, killer deals. One of my favorite places, Hadlock Designs, that makes the watch bands. They're there. We've got a lot of friends that have some shops in there too. So between that and just being a nice property, newly renovated tower, I don't think you can go wrong with rodeo action at the Rio Vegas.
All right, next category. Let's do value.
Okay.
For this one, I think I'm going to pick the Link.
Okay.
We had a great room there. You're centrally located. You're next to a monorail station. You're next to the Link Promenade. It was fairly clean and newer-ish property. They were doing a lot of renovating when we were there. But for a value property, I wouldn't hesitate to stay at the Link.
Yeah, that's a good call. We had a suite. It was a very modern hotel, so I liked it. I think I'm going to go with Treasure Island.
Okay.
And for a lot of the same reasons, it was very centrally located. It had a little bit of everything. For value, you can't beat having that CVS downstairs. You can grab those waters, throw them in the fridge. And the fridge, mind you, was also in a suite.
That's true.
So,
you don't always have a fridge in these hotels in Vegas.
Yeah.
So that is a good point. We did have a fridge at TI.
Yeah, and for the price we paid for the suite, the location we were in, I think the value was definitely there for Treasure Island.
Okay, cool. All right, let's do what is the most convenient when it comes to walkability. And I think for me, that's going to be the Horseshoe. Mm-hmm. They have the shopping downstairs. You're absolutely mid-strip. You had so many restaurant options, not just in the Horseshoe, but also outside the Horseshoe. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think that it doesn't get any more convenient than being dead mid-strip.
Yeah, that's a good point. So for my pick, I think I'm going to go with the Link. And the reason I'm going to pick the Link is a lot of the same reasons you said. Mid-strip, convenient to pretty much any property on the strip. We definitely could walk to most of the stuff we needed to get to, but the most convenient thing to me was the location of the Link Promenade because we had so many food options, such easy access to that and to the monorail that it made it number one for convenience for me.
Yeah, great point. All right, guys, so we want to wrap up this video, but stay tuned, subscribe to our channel. We'll have more videos talking about NFR, how to navigate Las Vegas during your trip, and all the tips and tricks that we have learned the hard way coming to you.
Yeah, like Rachel said, if you're still watching, like the video, subscribe, comment in the caption where it is you like to stay if you've been to Vegas before. And if you heard something in this video that you're going to check out while you're there, let us know that too. But in the meantime, we'll see you next time.
See ya.